Here we go, Nuggets. Here we go. Here we go, Nuggets. Here we go.
They're
We
killing it,
for our
fellas.
team around here.
They are killing it, fellas. 30 to 14 with still minutes to let go in the first quarter. So we're looking good. Charge was looking good. You're looking good, Marky. We're all looking good.
Buddy, we all looking great over here. This is like the sexy section over here in this podcast right here. What an episode of Charge, dude. Everybody's in a good mood tonight. Well, I can think of a couple people on the show that weren't exactly in good moods, but we're going to get to a lot of that. But, man, what an action-packed night we saw tonight on Charge, dude. Bierstadt was rocking. Rocking.
Well, I don't think I need to explain the energy that's going on here on Recharge right now. How's it going, everybody on YouTube? Miss Splinter, how's it going? Queen Vampires, just your average Jen, Mr. Fourth Row, how we all doing? Jared C. popping in there.
What's up?
How are we all doing this evening?
Wicked pisser. It's one of those days, baby. It's a good time.
It is.
Yes.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to another edition of the Dudes and Belts Recharge Post Show here on YouTube. I am your host, Johnny Deathdrop, and as you can tell by the enthusiasm of Marky Pins and Lucas over here, we got a banger of a charge to talk about that just happened about 15 minutes ago. Before we get into everything, let's introduce the panel for tonight. Taking the place of Coastal Crusader, which you will see him back on Thursday. He is our resident masshole himself, the one and only Marky Pins.
What is good, RMP faithful? So much action going on in Charge tonight. We saw a night of people imposing their own will on people. We see Bruce Wayne's kind of getting in Curtis Cole's face. They have a match. And Atiba imposing himself. We see Zamora imposing himself. And CBD rising to the occasion and imposing himself into the main event. We're going to get to all of this stuff tonight, man. There's just so much to talk about. We got to get into it as soon as possible.
Speaking of CBD, there he is right there in chat.
Whatever Wizenizzer means, I don't know.
Wizenizzer. And of course, on the right, we have the voice of Ignition. He is your encyclopedia of Rocky Mountain Pro, the one and only Lucas Bradwell.
Well, Marky said it all. There was so much going on tonight, but we also got two more matches official for the March to Milestone, baby. Two more official matches. Milestone already looking like an all-time classic is going to happen on the 1st of June. And we've got a lot to talk about, Maki. So let's not waste any more time.
All right.
Let's hit the gas and kick this thing's ass. Let's go, baby.
You don't have to tell me twice. Let's get right down to the nitty-gritty here. Starting off tonight, we have Lord Mitchell Taylor and Manny Lemons in this awkward friendship that we're looking at right now here on Charge. What do you guys take about these two in general? We know that they're in a match, well, part of the 8-man tag match later on in the main event. There's been a little bit of, I guess you could say, alliance forming a little bit here between Manny Lemons and Lord Mitchell Taylor.
I think it's more like an uneasy association at this point. Both of these guys know that they each bring something to the table in any match that they're in. And later on tonight, Manny Lemons brings the news to Lord Mitchell Taylor that they're both going to be on the same team involved in this 8-man tag that we're going to see later on this evening, while Mitchell Taylor is sitting there playing chess with himself on the phone with somebody. We don't know who, but Manny Lemons interrupts the phone call, and then we see Lord Mitchell Taylor say he's going to have to call him back and all that other stuff. So very brief interaction, but Lucas, there's something weird between these two guys. We've both seen them kind of bend the rules to their own partaking each time that they want to. You got the variable experience level of Lord Mitchell Taylor, the unbridled aggression that Manny Lemons brings in the ring. These two guys could be formidable if they ever, put their heads together.
Yeah, this could be a very formidable tag team. I think what you're seeing is, I think Manny Lemons has kind of taken the reins of taking it upon himself to try to form a tag team of some sorts, to maybe get himself in a position that he wants. You got to think the tag team champions right now, La Isla, they don't have an opponent for Milestone. So maybe Manny Lemons is trying to kind of massage some things, work some things out. And maybe if him and Lord Mitchell Taylor, if they can get on the same page, which it looked like they are fairly on the same page, you're right. With their experience and what they both bring to the table, they could be a very formidable tag team. So if what is happening is what I think is happening, this could be a big challenge for La Isla. We'll see if that's what transpires, but that's what it looks like to me.
Yeah, I agree. And if that's the case, then La Isla's going to have eyes in the back of their head on this one. Because like I've said before, these two have done whatever they've had to do, distract the referee, work around his back, do things even right in front of the referee. We've seen these guys get their own selves disqualified before. Not that that would happen in a title match, but you just have to expect the unexpected when it comes to Manny Lemons and Lord Mitchell Halis.
Lord Mitchell Halis. Beautiful.
Thank you.
All right. Well, we know for sure that there still is no match for the RMP Tag Team Championships at Milestone just yet. Although we do have a few weeks to go before the big event happens, so that could easily change in a drop of a week, I guess you could say.
Oh.
All right. Moving on. First action of the night. We had Sky Hossman going up against Gino Rivera. We all know what happened last week between Zamore and Sky Hossman in their bout when Gino got involved. Well, it looks like a receipt was paid tonight.
Oh, a very large receipt was paid this evening by Zamore, our Ignition champion. We'll get to that in just a minute, but I want to talk about the action that happened in this match. There's two guys that match up really, really well with each other. Gino Rivera and Sky Hossman. Both of them have the power. Both of them can go aerial. Both of them bring a valuable level of experience to the table. Gino maybe a little more than Sky, but we've seen Sky wrestle well beyond his years many, many times against many opponents. So I was really looking forward to some really, really good action in this match, and that's what we got. Gino starts off hot and heavy with the quick start, knee to the head, working in the corners, big boots. We see a big kitchen sink knee to Sky Hossman. He does an end over flippy, and he kind of gets laid out there real quick. Gino keeps that advantage. Gino had the advantage in this match for the better part of the match until Sky gets a moment to actually fire up. Bunch of clotheslines, drop kick, really pretty hip toss, kind of like into a fallout neck breaker. Halfway through the hip toss, he readjusted his position and took Gino down for a very close near fall. Gino ends up getting back up, recovering. Sky comes in for a dive. Gino catches him in the top for a running Death Valley driver into the corner, and Gino looks like he's really getting it going. Hits the big senton afterwards for the near fall. And now both of these guys, they're both tired, they're both exhausted, they've both hit some good offense on each other. Zamore cares not. Zamore remembers what happened last week, and there are debts to be paid and receipts to be given. And at this point, Zamore doesn't care who's in there. He double clotheslines both men. Sky and Gino both take a gigantic line for their troubles, and Zamore looking strong at the end of the match. Ref throws out the match. Ref Alice calls it a no contest, and we move on. But Zamore, not one to be intimidated, not one to be messed with. The message was taken, Gino. I think Zamore knows you're a tough dude and that you're ready. But Gino, do you know how tough a dude Zamore is? And Lucas, do you think Gino is ready?
I don't think he is ready, because if he was ready, I don't think he would have done what he did last week. I think what we've seen out of Zamore the last, 3 months, it has been absolute domination. Especially on Ignition, we've seen him just absolute domination. And not just, in Ignition title matches, but we've seen him against guys like Damon Ace and still be dominant. So why in the heck would Gino Rivera try to piss off this raging bull of Zamore? If you're trying to get yourself into a position, I think there's better ways to go about it, because right now Zamore is one of the dude that I would not want to mess with.
No.
And the other thing is Gino really hasn't made himself very friendly to Sky Hossman either. Sky Hossman probably is not very happy with this match being ruled a no contest. There's a lot of stuff going on right now that this is a very interesting picture that we've got being painted right now between Zamore, Sky Hossman, and Gino Rivera. Is there a possibility that we could see a triple threat match for the Ignition titles down the line? I mean, that's what it's kind of looking like to me.
It could easily make sense. You have the current Ignition champion, you have a past Ignition champion, and you have a guy that wants to be the Ignition champion. Sounds like a match made in heaven to me. I mean, if Gino wants this and if Sky wants this, like Zamore just said in chat, you better make sure you want that beef. Because, bro, that's a lot of beef coming at you, and that's the champion right there. He's fighting for him, and he's fighting for what's his. You're fighting to take what's his. What's strong.
Yeah, that's the biggest bull on the ranch right now. So when we're talking beef, that's beef.
We all know Gino's accomplishments in the wrestling business over his long career. But as it was said tonight and has been for the past couple weeks, the one thing that has eluded him and the one thing that he has been focused on ever since his return to RMP is to actually capture some sort of Rocky Mountain Pro Gold in some way, shape, or form. So he's got motivation already. Zamore has been one of the best Ignition champions in recent history.
Mm-hmm.
And you have Sky Horseman, who, again, former Ignition champion, the first one since the reincarnation of the championship back a few months ago. So I think you're right. I think these three are destined to collide in some type of big match down the line, whether it's Milestone or whether it's on an Ignition or the Ignition before Milestone, because that's a thing too. Who knows?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that could be the main event of that pre-show. Who knows what's going to go on? Danger Dean's got a lot of decisions to make on a lot of things.
Oh, yes, he does.
Yes, he does. I'll tell you right now, the superstars in R&B are not making it easy on Presidente Peligro right now. There is all kinds of stuff going on, shenanigans. You got everything that Danger Dean is going to have to deal with, plus people in the chat calling him, selfish and misguided. He's got a lot going on in his mind right now. I don't personally keep those feelings about Dean. I just think that heavy, very heavy is the head that wears the crown right now. And Dean is wearing that crown. And if anybody thinks that they can do better, I dare them to attempt it.
All right, moving on here. We have Curtis Cole backstage talking about what happened last week and what he plans on doing going forward. I know we have to talk about Curtis Cole a couple times tonight. Let's just get it over with. What are your thoughts on Curtis Cole's mindset going in the Milestone?
I think David Drake has him in a tizzy right now. I think David Drake has Simbodi in a tizzy. I think David Drake has a lot of people in a tizzy right now with his actions, with the lights out, lights on, and not knowing what's happening. I mean, we're going to hear from Simbodi later, too, in a very similar regard. Who'd have thought that Curtis Cole and Simbodi would have, agreeing viewpoints on a given situation? But right now, David Drake is making both of their lives a living hell. But then Curtis Cole has one of the greatest open mouth insert foot moments I've ever seen in my life when he sits and he starts talking trash about what he's going to do to Boss later on tonight. And he doesn't realize the final boss is less than a Gotham sidekick distance away. And he hears everything that he says. And he basically just tells him to shut up and that he hates Curtis Cole. He's like, I got a Boss Bruce Wayne's t-shirt, but it's not even my favorite t-shirt. My favorite t-shirt says, I hate Curtis Cole. So
I just have one question. Where in the hell do I get an I Hate Curtis Cole t-shirt? Because I need one.
Seriously.
ASAP.
Mr. Fourth Row, that would sell like flapjacks. Like flatjacks, like muffins, like hotcakes. That would sell like crazy. Get that t-shirt out there. We absolutely need it. So Cole's got a lot going on. He's dealing with what's up with Drake. His mind's a mess. He's got to deal with Bruce Wayne's tonight. That is no small feat. Lucas, if you got Bruce Wayne's and you got David Drake haunting you in the back of your mind, I mean, let's talk about this. You're a prime example of what's going on here. Talk to us a little bit about maybe what Curtis Cole could do to chill out and actually be able to focus on a match against a guy like Bruce Wayne's tonight.
Curtis Cole hasn't been able to chill out for over a year. That guy has always got something eating at him. It seems like constantly. He's either got a beef with me or got a beef with you guys or beef with someone. The guy is just a miserable human being. So he really can't. I don't think anything will get him to chill out. He's constantly going to be a miserable human being. And so And when you're a constantly miserable human being, you're always going to have issues. And sometimes these issues are going to be stuff you don't want to deal with. Like, I don't think he wants to deal with Bruce Wayne's. And now it looks like that he might have a beef with someone else, as we saw later on. So it's a never-ending cycle for someone like Curtis Cole, but never more deserving either.
True. A lot of these things have been his own doing in the beginning, with his garbage that started it, and then he tries to back his way out of it and usually finds himself on the other side of a fist. So I really don't feel too bad for him. This is the universe working its way out, to be honest.
All right. We finally have an answer from Lilith. And now that it's official, as we saw tonight in that package with her, I'm going to bring it over to you guys here. Now that everything is set in stone, what is your outlook towards the coffin match between JC and Lilith? Is this going to be the end? Is this the end of the asylum?
Did you see Lilith in this video? Did you see what she looked like? Did you see the change, how she's different? This level, it brings us back to that demon Lilith Grimm that we saw in the Legion a couple years ago. The thing that she fought, this side of herself that she fought, she's now embraced it. It's out there. It's open. And for 1 minute, if this is a time where the Asylum thinks that the numbers advantage is going to help them, it is not. It is going to take far more numbers than they have to be able to completely eliminate a Lilith Grimm at this point, this Lilith Grimm that we have. But I think this Lilith Grimm can end JC and the Asylum and take that Lockheads title back away from the Asylum, out of those locked doors with all them crazy people on the inside, and bring that title back. Lucas, we've seen this journey that Lilith Grimm has been on in the Asylum, just nonstop trying to knock her down another peg, knock her down another peg. I think those pegs have been rebuilt, and now we have an even stronger and even more deadly Lilith Grimm. What do you think?
Oh, I think my microphone problem there. Yeah, I think that it's a new reforged Lilith Grimm again, reforged back to the old Lilith Grimm, and this is her sending a clear message that all that crap that you guys did to me, all that stuff that happened before, now is going to bite you in the ass, and big time, because she's not intimidated. In fact, I think she's the one being the intimidator. Whether or not the Asylum is intimidated, Lilith Grimm is no longer being on the defense with this mind games and the battle with the Asylum. It is now she's on the offensive and ready to answer the challenge of a coffin match. This could finally be the one thing that can overcome the Asylum, is this combination of the Warhammer and Demon being one. And boy, I'm here for it. Let me tell you, I can't wait.
You couldn't have put it any better, brother. I am definitely here for this. I do think that Lilith Grimm that we saw tonight marks the beginning of the end of the Asylum and their reign of terror. Because you said it best. There have been so many times that Lilith has been on the defensive in this whole situation. Each time they've kind of gotten her from behind. They blindside her. She thinks she finds Noelle, and then Noelle blindsides her. You got Salem Wolf coming in the ring, blindsiding her. Now she is putting the pedal to the metal. She is bringing the heat. She is bringing the gas. And it's now time to see if JC can fight from behind instead of always having the advantage. Can the Asylum do it? I do not think so. Not with this Lilith Grimm. Not this time.
And when you bring up that, you watched the same video that I did, the same video package. You saw the symbolism there from Lilith Grimm as well. I don't think, personally, it's just a demon. if you look at what she looked like, she had one half of her face with a horn and the eye of a demon, but then the other half was the Warhammer. I think we're not dealing with just the demon, ladies and gentlemen. I think we're dealing with a hybrid Lilith Grim.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think you're getting. I think you're getting the best of both Lilith.
And I think she was making
coming to Milestone.
I think she was making like a Warhammer out of bones or something like that.
That's what it looked like.
Yeah. Just the symbolism there. I mean, if I'm Salem and I'm JC and I'm Noel and I'm anybody who's associated with the asylum, I am watching the out, because I can tell you right now, that girl, there's no question that she was motivated before. I think with the Lockets championship on the line as well, that's just adding more fuel to the fire. I think this is going to be a Lilith Grim that will do whatever she has to do to not only capture that championship, but to finally, after all that she's been through, put down the asylum once and for all.
And take pleasure while doing it. She said she will be taking pleasure in stuffing that final nail in the coffin of what is JC's title reign and the asylum's reign of terror over the Lockets division. This is a different individual, folks. We don't know what to expect, but all we know is that the volume just got turned way up here, boys. Way up.
And yes, it is officially a coffin match at Milestone 13. We'll go over what matches are official towards the end of the night once we complete charge here. But we got to keep going because there's still a lot that happened tonight. Let's kind of really take a 180 here, going from the demon or the hybrid demon Lilith Grim to the law office.
The hybrid intelligent.
There is definitely some issues in the law office. And this kind of really sealed the deal right there. It got to the point where Lola had to get involved, and you can tell that she was kind of getting upset with J.K. Pop and Preston as well. What is happening with the law office, guys?
It's imploding. Without the gold, it is absolutely imploding. When they lost those titles, those tag team championships, everything imploded, and each guy for each different reason. Preston not getting his cut anymore. Brother feeling like it was the other brother that messed up. And now they're at odds. Preston's trying to keep them together so they can maybe win the gold again, so he can get his money. So nobody's motivations are pure here, except Lola's. To be completely honest, they're sitting there trying to figure out a way that they can tag team a match at Milestone and not have to fight each other. And then Lola comes in, looks at Johnny and says, time to put on the big boy pantalones. And then looks at Koyama and says, it's time to grow some quijones. So step up and answer the challenge here, boys. It's not like they've never fought each other before, because they have, and we've seen it. I think it has to happen again, and Lola is being the voice of reason amongst the three other knuckleheads at the table. Get this fight out, get it out of you. Get all of this stuff out so that you two can maybe later go on and do something else and try to get those titles back. But right now, everything is too chaotic. Trying to tag up has been what's making it worse, Lucas. Each time JK Pop tagged together, some shenanigans were happening, and the two of them were at each other's throats. It just has been a nonstop. It hasn't ended since they lost the titles like this.
Yeah, and Preston hasn't been able to figure out how to get them back on track. He's lost control. I mean, he's coming up with the silliest ideas that he can think of. Like he's lost his damn mind, and he just, he's lost control. That those two can't get along while they're together. So yeah, you're right. Lola has been having to almost be the de facto leader of the law office lately, and I think she's getting fed up with it. And I think at this point, this match has to happen. It may or may not be a good thing for him. It may end up being what splits them up. But I think, all in all, it is what has to happen one way or the other. And if they are as strong brothers as they say they are, they'll stick it out. Even after this match, Milestone, whoever comes out the winner, I think that they'll figure it out, and move on. But if not, then they go their separate ways, and I think they can both have very good singles careers as well. So it'll just be very interesting to see how this plays out.
Either way, though, a ton of chaos in the law office right now. Nothing even close to being resolved about anything.
Oh, I was muted for a second. All right, I want to give a shout out to El Guapo Sweater. You know El Guapo from the Red Sox, Rich Garces. Long time pitcher. It's cool you do a post show. Yeah, we do a post show for Charge. We do a post show for Ignition on Thursday nights called Reignited. We also do the Rocky Mountain Rewind on Sunday nights, as well as doing reviews of big pay-per-views like we will be doing for Milestone 13 coming up. And yeah, we're here about 3 days a week. Oh, yep. Lucas, you okay?
I'm good. Yeah, just the camera fell off its thing. We're good.
It looked like an earthquake from over here. I was hoping no earthquakes would happen.
Yeah. Never felt one here, but it's a possibility. Denver's still winning by 10 points. So, yeah, this place could erupt.
That's a possibility. We'll brace ourselves if that happens.
All right, I am definitely late on this right now. But for everybody who's watching on YouTube, if you haven't yet, make sure you hit that like button. And make sure you leave a comment below the VOD at the end of the show. It helps us with the algorithm of YouTube, because YouTube has that algorithm thing that's annoying as hell. And we greatly appreciate your support, as always. And also, if you like what you're seeing here on this channel, not just the dudes, but Charge and Ignition and everything that we do here on the Rocky Mountain Pro YouTube page, make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on the notifications. Another Dudes and Belts live show, or Charge, or Ignition. Continue on. It's Cole and Bruce Wayans, guys. No love lost here, that's for sure. What did you guys think about this match?
No, this was a really good match. We're going to get to the end in a minute here, but that's when everything kind of changed. We saw a real good back and forth, good experienced guys wrestling each other. These guys know each other very, very well, wrestled each other many times, and this is just the next chapter in their story. Boss comes out pretty quick in this, gets the first advantage. Nice Gotham sidekick, prettiest elbow. He's hitting all of his patented Boss offense, man. That beautiful running corner spear that he likes to throw. The first one, he hit Cole really hard in the ribs. Really messed him up on the inside. He misses the second run. Cole ends up getting himself out of the way. He comes back with a fast contra code. Now, we normally don't see Curtis Cole hit the contra code this early in the match. But I think one of those first corner spears hit him so hard that like his chest hadn't uncaved itself yet. So he really needed that contra code just for space, just to get a couple extra breaths of air in his lungs. If you're the final boss, that's how impactful your moves can be, even in the early part of the match, because Cole's ribs are hanging through the entirety of the match. Every move he tries to do, you could tell that it just, every time he throws a punch, he's got to grab the ribs because it's hurting. Boss scores a couple chops, picks him up and gets a beautiful spinning power bomb. Boss is really in charge of Bruce Wayne's, and we see Spicer come back over and count a very slow because he's hurting 1, 2, and 3. And Curtis Cole gets a very, very cheap win here behind the ref's back. 500 people at Bierstadt saw it, but the one guy that had to see it couldn't, man. It was just a situational collateral damage kind of thing here. But then, honestly, Lucas, I thought this was pretty cool at the end. Because we see Atiba, we realize that there's no honor amongst thieves whatsoever. And Curtis Cole decides to take Atiba's face off with a contra code of his own and lays out Atiba. So we got Atiba laid out, we got Boss laid out, Curtis Cole's hurting, walking back to the ring. This is another menagerie of a mess between these three guys. Neither one of these three guys like each other either. What the hell's going on here, dude?
It's milestone season, Maki, and everyone is everyone is on high anxiety, high I don't know what you call it. Just everyone is got a lot of feelings of trying to get their spot, and so we saw Curtis Cole's frustration when he was talking about David Drake and the Sin Bodhi thing, and now you got to think, well, it's even more frustration because had he gotten a win over Boss, well, maybe that possibly would have at least got him a spot for a number one contendership.
That's a big deal. You beat the final boss, yeah.
Yeah, and right now, though, we heard just moments later about Dean's big announcement right at commentary. So it may not have been what Curtis Cole wanted to have Tiba come out there, cost him a match, but all in all, it may have worked out for him.
All right. I can see in chat that there are a couple issues with YouTube. I think Marky is encountering the same thing as well.
I did, yeah. My phone kind of froze there for a minute.
I can assure you it is not on my end. I haven't dropped a single frame yet. So it is not over here. It's got to be a YouTube thing. And I'm looking into it right now to see if it keeps on happening. But as of right now, we just keep on rocking and rolling.
Yeah, I think it's more of a YouTube issue. I had to refresh I had to refresh my live button, and I'm back on track.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, let's keep her going.
All right. Moving on. Sin Bodhi. We all know that he won the number one contendership last week and will be facing David Drake in the main event of Milestone 13 on June 1st. He had a couple words to say about David Drake. What are your thoughts on what he said?
I mean, kind of similar to what Curtis Cole said about David Drake. Like I said, who'd have thought that these two would have actually had common cause in anything? But they both basically are looking at this saying, Drake, I was doing this on my own. I don't need you coming in and messing in. And I don't think Drake cares. I think Drake is doing whatever Drake wants. If it's Drake doing this, I mean, all signs, my Magic 8 Ball says all signs point to Drake. But at the same time, there also has been no confirmed evidence that it has been him. A lot of speculation, things that fit the facts. But at this point in time, I think I honestly believe it is David Drake just choosing to mess with the two guys that were in contention for his title, letting them know that no matter where you guys are, I can do anything I want because I am the champion. And Sin Bodhi basically comes up and doesn't need his help. Says he's tired of the garbage. He's tired of the tricks. He's tired of the lights out, lights on. He's just tired of Drake's stuff, and he's just not going to deal with it anymore. And Sin Bodhi has this match against David Drake right now. So if you're Drake, Lucas, do you even care, or you just keep doing your thing because you honestly see that it's getting into your opponent's heads at this point?
Well, Drake is he's going to always do whatever the hell he wants. It's been what has worked for him this entire time. We're going on almost a year now that he, has went through this transformation since winning the Colorado Cup. He's not going to change anything. Although I will say that Sin Bodhi is a different cat. That's putting it mildly. He's a different animal. He's definitely probably the most out there out of any of Drake's potential opponents or anybody that he's faced. Most everyone else were for the most part had it together mentally. Sin Bodhi is out there, man. And I don't know if the mind games that David Drake likes to play are going to work with Sin Bodhi as well as they have with everyone else. I'm not sure that it's going to have the same effect that it has had. So, go ahead and keep doing it, Drake. It's what you do, but this might be a guy that it may not work against. Like it seems like he's another guy that doesn't, pain doesn't affect him as much. He's still a human. He still feels pain, but I think he's got a high pain threshold. And I'm talking about Sin Bodhi. I think this is a much different competitor that David Drake is going to have to go up against than his other opponents. So this could work out differently than what we've seen in the past, Monty.
I have a big feeling it's going to work out very, very different. We've seen Sin, and like you said, he is a very different type of cat than all the other cats that are running around the neighborhood right now. This is not somebody that you're just going to walk out and do the things that scare a lot of other people. Sin came up with a lot of those things back in the day. So it's going to be up to David Drake to either up that game, or don't be surprised. I would not be surprised for 2 seconds up the script on David Drake, because we was fired that way. Now it's time for Sin to respond.
I think YouTube's acting up again.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Like us tonight.
What's going on with it?
Like I said, it's not on my end. We're flat out perfect over here.
No, the weather's good around here. It's a beautiful evening here in New England.
Yeah, it says excellent connection on my half, so we have nothing going on over here. This is all YouTube.
Yeah, my nothing's happened. Discord has been fine for me, so yeah, it's got to be a YouTube issue.
We're sorry, folks.
Nothing we can do. Is definitely out of our control. Last Sunday we were able to control and fix it. This time we can't do anything if it's a YouTube issue. But I guess we can keep on talking about cats, and we definitely got to talk about cats this next segment, because we finally have some type of confrontation between your starting lineup and Jason Knoll. And this one ended up to be Briscoe Crown versus Jason Knoll 1-on-1 with Kendrick and Panther on the outside.
Mm-hmm.
With
Good
Briscoe
competitive
Crown,
match.
Yeah, Briscoe Crown getting the win once again. Somebody who is twice the size of Briscoe.
Mm-hmm. Finding ways to get W's like these. It's just
getting to
out
the
of control.
point where I'm not even surprised anymore. It's just expected now.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly.
And so many different ways. I mean, you'll see him float out of something and hit the crowning achievement. Tonight, we see him really kind of, fast start. But then Jason Knoll just completely shoulder tackled him into the highway from the inside of Bierstadt. Like Briscoe come in for the big splash, and Jason Knoll just said, nah, get that out of here. And he just shoulder tackled Briscoe almost to the other side of Denver downtown. And then Knoll takes over. And there was an interesting moment in the corner. He's got Briscoe in the corner, putting a knee into his throat or his chest area. And he's this violent stare down. If you can imagine a violent stare coming out of Jason Knoll's face, directed right at Kendrick LaRoe standing on the outside. You could tell where Jason Knoll's motivations were in this match. This was destroy Briscoe to get at Kendrick. You could tell Kendrick is the complete object of his ire. And at this moment in time, Briscoe's paying the price for it. But Briscoe does a really good job of using his speed against the big man. You're not going to outpower the big man. You found that out in the first 5 minutes of the match. But he uses his speed and his quickness at the very end. He manages to flip out of an overhead suplex. Nice drop kick to the back in the corner, sends Jason into the corner. He feeds back out, and Briscoe just drops him with a crucifix. Manages to get him up, get him off balance in a crucifix roll-up for a 1-2-3. And Briscoe getting wins over a very surprised Jason Knoll here. And at the end of it, Panthro decides to jump in, Lucas, and this is when they lost control of the entire thing in the match. Panthro comes in, and then Kendrick comes in, and we see everybody beat. I'm telling you, man, these four guys, the animosity level, the anger level, the revenge factor of what Jason Knoll, all these different emotions rolled into one. This is a time bomb just waiting to blow up in this ring anytime these four guys are out there.
It has been, and I think Jason Knoll's anger and issues, I think, have rubbed off on Panther. I think he's been putting some things in Panther's head, and maybe it's gotten to Panther, and now he's kind of seemed to have taken it personal with your starting lineup as well. And we know that Briscoe and Kendrick, they have big ambitions. And right now, I think Jason Knoll and Panther are kind of standing in their way, and they got to take care of this issue in order for them to move on. So this is something they've got to take head on. And, I think we're heading on to a big collision between both of these teams. You're right. Will it be, your starting lineup, will it be, their ambitions to, move up in Rocky Mountain Pro? Will that win over, or will it be Jason Knowles' bitterness and anger that wins out? That's kind of the battle that we're looking at right now.
And this is a big deal because this is one of the bigger tag team feuds going on in RMP right now. And if they think that the people making the decisions at Rocky Mountain Pro aren't watching this feud and kind of watching who's going to come out of it on top as far as who may be a future #1 contender for a tag team championship spot, then they're crazy. Because at this point in time, there is so much riding. You got 4 guys performing at their top levels, and they haven't even all been in the ring yet, and the bell rung. So when they finally do, there is going to be an explosion of emotion, but also an explosion of opportunity for whoever wins this going forward. This is going to be like sleeper feud of the year so far into who's going to come out of Milestone in a better position to be #1 contender for those tag team championships.
All right. On with the main event of the evening.
Chaos personified in this match.
We have an 8.
My God.
We have an
Old school pandemonium.
It was.
We have an 8-man tag match as your main event, featuring the #1 contender for the NRW Championship, Damon Ace. We have your reigning charge champion, Carson Drake, CBD. We have your lordship, Lord Mitchell Taylor.
Hairless.
And the guy who owns the lemonade stand, Manny Lemons, going up against your NRW champion, Mercury Yaden, your tag team champions, La Isla and Balaam Lynx and Echo, and your former charge champion of over 300 days, mind you, Remy D.
Yeah. Action, talent, experience. This match had everything, didn't it, Lucas? There was so much chaosity going from bell to bell. La Isla looking good in the beginning against CBD.
So much personal stuff, too. You got to
Like,
remember,
right.
Yeah,
there's a lot of layers to this.
Almost everybody has a story or at least an interaction with at least everybody else in this match. So anybody on either side of the ring is happy to get their hands on anybody on the other side of that ring. And that's what it ended up breaking down to. After we saw some very good team cohesion between the two teams. Like I said in the beginning, our good guys, our Mercury Yaden and La Isla and Remy, do a great job at taking on CBD, isolating him, and then CBD fires out of a Remy D cover, and then he ends up getting Remy in the corner, and Remy D takes a lot of punishment over in those guys' corner. Damon Ace, Manny Lemons, and Lord Mitchell Taylor doing a good job of keeping the ref distracted, goading Mercury Yaden, goading La Isla into the ring so that the ref has to stop them. Meanwhile, there's 4 guys putting boots to the face. Remy D took a lot of punishment. Manny Lemons was the biggest culprit of the match, distracting the referee and running interference for the boys over on the other side so that they could just keep destroying Remy in the corner. Remy does end up getting up a fire up, though. He gets himself up. We see the snake eyes and the big boot on CBD. Nice rolling thunder leg drop for the near fall. And after the near fall, like we've seen a fairly controlled chaos. After that rolling thunder thigh leg drop, Lucas, that's when all hell broke loose. Everybody in the ring, everybody's beating up on somebody. CBD pulls like XP move #1 that we saw on the show tonight in this roll-up at the very end of the match. He had just gotten covered, kicked out at 2.9, rolls out of the ring. The whole melee gets going as Remy's still distracted. Remy and CBD still the legal men in the match. CBD goes around the ring, comes running back in behind Remy D, and rolls him up really tight. And I think he pulled the tights at the end there too. But he rolls him up really tight and gets the 1, 2, 3. Look, you can say what you want about guys like CBD, guys like Damon Ace. You can say whatever you have to about their tactics, about their ambitions, about how they do things, but they show that they're not stupid. No matter what you think of them, you cannot call them dumb. You cannot call them inexperienced. CBD showing XP for days. Damon Ace, we've known it. We call him violently intelligent. Lucas, this CBD kid going forward with guys like Damon Ace, listening to guys like Lord Mitchell Taylor. I mean, the future is bright for these guys, even though they're a couple of knuckleheads. They pull a win out here, but I gotta say, I'm fairly impressed with a guy like CBD. I really am.
I am too. I really am. It's hard for me to admit that just because you know how much I think of Remy D. And I believe Remy D still is one of the great superstars that we have, not only in Rocky Mountain Pro, but really in professional wrestling.
Future.
One of the best.
Yeah.
One of the best, the future.
Yeah, yep. Sometimes, though, some guys just have your number, you know? And that's what I feel about CBD. I honestly don't think that he's better than Remy D, but he just seems to have Remy D's number. He just seems to know how to get under Remy D's skin. He knows how to get in his head. He knows how to distract him. He just knows how to push the right buttons and to get victories over Remy D. He's done it now. A couple more than once. So his victory.
He's outsmarted him a couple of times. You know?
Yes. So his victory at Peak of the Pack now, I think he's proven it's not a fluke. He just knows how to win. And yeah, CBD could be a very he could be a very formidable champion on charge, especially if he continues to use his intelligence along with. Let's face it, he has some God-gifted athletic ability as well. We've seen it. No doubt. So he's a total package, and he's got some of that old school feel about him. KD mentioned it quite a bit. I would mention it kind of like a Memphis style wrestling. Reminds me of a guy, I don't know how old school you are, but a guy like Austin Idol is kind of what he reminds me of. Some of those guys that like the King Jerry Lawler.
That I know.
Yeah.
Jerry Lawler.
Guys like Jerry Lawler used to kind of have feuds with. Some of these guys, very kind of a little flamboyant, a little, very cocky and arrogant, but just knows how to get under the skin of their opponents. And a lot of times that's enough to get the victory. And for CBD, it has been enough to get him to the Charge Championship. Some other things really quick in this matchup. We talked about Damon Ace, and boy, you can just tell him and Mercury Yaden. I think they're saving a little bit for Milestone. I even though they, things boiled over a little bit, I still think they're holding a little bit back for Milestone. They've really torn each other apart over the past several months. I think now they're kind of realizing they got to save a little bit because we still don't know what kind of match those two are going to have for the NRW Championship. So, so I think there's a little bit, they're trying to save a little bit for Milestone. And then, I talked about it earlier. I think Manny Lemons and Lord Mitchell Taylor, they're trying to make a push to maybe get themselves into a Rocky Mountain Pro Tag Team title match against La Isla. We saw a little preview, maybe a little hint of that in this match as well with what we saw between those four. So a lot of things that I think are going to play a big factor at Milestone taking place in this matchup.
Two things. First off, I want to get back into the match. And we saw everything that happened towards the end. How much do you think that Yaden and La Isla do you think that they were semi-responsible for this loss with Remy getting rolled up? Because you got to remember, Remy was in there for quite a long time during this match and was getting constantly triple teamed on the other side of the ring in their corner, while it seemed like La Isla and Yaden, not intentional, but was distracting the ref throughout the course of the match.
I think that's fair. I think that's a fair assessment. I think, maybe they weren't completely focused on this matchup itself. Maybe they were focused on kind of what's happening in the future. Maybe not using the their heads, not being as calm, cool, and collective as they usually are. Those three, and yeah, you're right. It might have cost Remy a little bit. But
and I can understand with Yaden and Damon and their whole thing that's going on right now. A lot. Isla doesn't have anything going at the moment, at least not yet.
Good. Sorry, my bad.
And I know that there's a handful of teams, not just Lord Mitchell Taylor and Manny Lemons, but there's a handful of teams vying for that number one contendership spot going in the Milestone. I don't know. It just seems like there was some poor decision making in this match on the other side.
Well, to an extent, yes, but I was right about to bring it up, and then Yaden typed it in the chat, and I agree with Mercury Yaden. I think as Remy D had got that big fire up, he hit that snake eyes, and then he hit the big boot, and after he covered, he should have gotten out of there with a tag. I can see finishing the combination.
Right, because then he went off the rope and did the rolling leg drop.
You know, or even after you do the rolling thunder thighs, like, okay, fine, hit him with the near fall. Okay, he kicks out. Get over there, get a tag to somebody, get out. You've been in there. You've taken the last 6-7 minutes worth of punishment. You did just unload on an adrenaline surge, some of your highest test offense that you have. Now's a good time to get out of there and give it to somebody like Balaam or Echo, two of the hottest hot tags in RMP right now. Give it to Yaden, one of the most physical superstars in RMP right now. He's been up in his game because he knows he's going into a war with Damon Ace. So there's nobody being more physically intense right now than Yaden. You got two of the fastest growing superstars and most electric superstars in La Isla right in your corner. Make that tag. And I'm sorry, but Remy didn't make that tag. If he makes that tag, I don't think we're talking about a match where CBD can come back in and roll up a tired Remy D. I don't think that happens.
Johnny, I know you had
2 cents, though. That's just my 2 cents.
Johnny, I know you had another point, and I'll let you go ahead and make your other point. But I have something also to say about Remy as well.
Yeah. And honestly, just since we're on that topic, you might as well go ahead and talk about the Remy, because I was actually going to get into more of the tag team hunt, which I was trying to converge in the one, but didn't work out.
So
that
really
way.
quick, so just one other observation with Remy, his frustration with losing his charge championship, and as I stated before, with CBD's gotten the best of him. And we've also seen Remy's frustration get the best of him on Ignition as of late. Mm-hmm. It also might have cost him. He might have kind of had some stubbornness that kind of kicked in, and it's like, no, I'm not tagging out. I'm going to get the best of this matchup. And I think maybe he thought he was getting the upper hand on CBD, wanted to finally maybe get a little bit of revenge against CBD, and that might have cost him. I think it might be a little bit of Remy's frustration that was honestly what got him at the end of this matchup, more so than his tag team partners not helping him out or whatever. I think it was more Remy's frustration that was really what did him in this matchup.
And you saw his face at the end too. You saw his demeanor.
We've seen that demeanor a few times the last couple times we've seen Remy D. This kid CBD's really getting under his skin. He's really pissing him off. He's like hitting him in a spot that not many other superstars have been able to go to. Curtis Cole went there one time before. That didn't end very well for Curtis Cole. CBD's got the better of it right now, but for how long? How long?
All right. And that's going to conclude this episode of Charge, ladies and gentlemen. Well, final thoughts on tonight's episode.
Great show. We get the listing of some of the matches that we're going to have. We see and I saw how Jen typed this in chat earlier, the War Demon, Lilith Grimm, this new Lilith 3.0, should I say, going into Milestone with a cause, with a mission on offense this time, like we were talking. What a great show. The crowd at Bierstadt is just second to none. Fantastic show. A lot of questions going forward still. We just spent a lot of time on that main event. That main event is much of Milestone.
There's a
So
good
there's a
portion of it,
lot
yeah.
going on. Right.
Lucas?
Yeah, you're right. We still have questions, but I think we got a lot of answers tonight. At least we did get the answer from Lilith that we are going to have the coffin match. We've got now a number one contender match for the Rocky Mountain Pro Championship has now been set with three of the most decorated competitors in Rocky Mountain Pro history. When you got Curtis Cole, Atiba, and Bruce Waynes, that's star-studded. So we did get some answers, and so we're so close to milestone. Right? What is it? 2 weeks? Just 2 weeks away? A little over 2 weeks. Yeah. We've got just a couple more episodes of Charge, a couple more episodes of Ignition, and we are there, guys. So I'm excited. Another great night of Charge. You're right. That Bierstadt crowd is something else. If you guys haven't been out, and anybody in chat, if you haven't been to a Bierstadt show, we have it the first Friday of every month. It's free Charge tapings. It's an unbelievable energy. You got to go at least one time. It's unlike anything that we've ever done. So so happy that we're doing Charge at Bierstadt.
Also, to follow up on Lucas announcing some of the matches, which she kind of did half my job, so thank you, Lucas. Greatly appreciate it. We also have Yaden versus Damon Ace for the NRW Championship. That's on the line at Milestone 13. No stipulation for that match as of yet. I'm sure we'll find out in the coming weeks. Also, it's breaking down, boys. Johnny Casanova versus Caden Koyama. 2 out of 3 falls.
It has to happen. It has to happen. And this is the old school way of settling the feud before Hell in a Cell, before all the other things. It was a 2 out of 3 falls match. That decided the better man or the better woman. That was the traditional end of it. And it's traditional. And for these two, they're knuckleheads, yes, undeniable. However, they are both also old school. They bring that old school idea of doing things. This is a fitting way to culminate this. And for these two brothers, should I say that delicately, to really figure out who the better man is so they can just move on and we can enjoy more shenanigans week in and week out.
And
Knuckleheads.
as far as I know, as of right now, there is going to be more added to this huge card, already stacked card as of right now. We still don't have a contender for the Charge Championship for Carson Drake. We still don't have a challenger for La Isla in the tag team titles. Nothing's official with the Ignition title as of yet, but we saw some signs tonight that there might be a collision course there for the Ignition title. And, of course, you got the Colorado Cup. You got a couple other matches that are going to be announced. It's going to be a huge event on Thursday, June 1st at the Wimmer Arena. You are not going to want to miss it, especially if you're in the Colorado, Denver area. What time is it start? It starts at 7 p.m. 7? Is it 7?
Yeah, it's 7 o'clock. Pre-show will start at 6. So for Ignition, we'll go on at 6 o'clock. And main show starts at 7.
Yep. So it's 6 o'clock Mountain Daylight Time for the pre-show, with 7 o'clock being Milestone 13 at the Wimmer. On YouTube, if you're not going to be in the Denver area, remember you got to be a member. You got to join as a Tier 2 member to be able to watch Milestone 13 from the cozy of your own living room or computer or wherever you're going to watch Milestone 13. $9.99. Not only do you get the pay-per-views, but you also get all the Tier 1 perks, which is the loyalty badge, the emotes that we have, which I think we should be close to unlocking more. And, of course, you get the membership-only live chat, that stream once a month with an RMP talent. And next Sunday, ladies and gentlemen, I know this is going to look weird for 2 seconds. Nope, I lied. I fixed it. We're going to have Sergey on.
Yes!
This Sunday coming up, 9 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. That is 7 o'clock Mountain Daylight Time for all you guys in the mountain regions. It's going to be members-only chat, so only the members who who are tier 1 and above will be able to chat, ask questions, and interact with the one and only Sergey.
I've got a correction on that time though. It's not that time. It's muffin time is when it starts.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes, that show will start right at muffin time o'clock sharp. Yes.
All right. Other than that, folks, I think that's all
Nothing.
that I have. We're going to start pushing the other shows as well coming up because it's not just Milestone that weekend on Thursday. Friday is another.
Oh, it's a busy weekend.
Oh, Friday, I believe we have Beer Start again, another series of charged tapings coming from the BSL Lager House. We have Romero's, which I think we have not been to.
No, we haven't.
So this is going to be our first encounter with Romero's, and as well as Snowpack on Sunday.
I've seen the pictures from Snowpack. That looks like a really cool outdoor kind of like in the mountains venue. That place looks awesome.
It is.
How's the pizza?
Pizza's excellent. They have great pizza.
About the pizza up there. That's what I'm talking about. All right.
Yeah, they have good pizza, good food every venue. So yeah, we're gonna have a good weekend, guys.
I'm hungry. I could eat. I'll bring some money.
The Colorado
I'll buy a pizza.
Cup, okay, the Colorado Cup is going to be before Milestone, so that's probably going to be your ignition. Almost.
Yeah,
Alice,
that'll be our ignition.
Alice, I'm going to buy all the refs a pizza. On me. On the mass hole. Pizza for the refs on the mass hole.
Where's my pizza?
You can have a slice. I'll give you a sliced pizza.
Oh, gee, thanks. I'll make sure I'll put pineapples on yours with you not looking.
I'm buying the pizza. That's how I know there's not going to be any pineapple on it. I'm not letting other people buy my pizza for me. I know I'm going to get ribbed all weekend for that. No. That's okay. I'm buying the pepperonis.
You know it's going to happen at some point throughout the course of our time there. We're going to go to a pizza place, and you're not going to be paying attention. And then all of a sudden, we're just going to have 3 orders of Hawaiian pizzas with double pineapple.
Dude, I swear to God, if I find a can of pineapple in my gear bag, I'm going to flip out this weekend. That's all I'm saying, okay? If I find any pineapple. Yes, Alice. Okay, cool. Yes, no pineapple on the pizza. I had to pay a horrible penance.
Oh, my God.
About a month ago.
Stop
it.
You guys just don't understand. You don't understand.
No, I tried to understand, and I don't want to understand anymore. There's a big difference. I don't want to understand anymore.
Pineapple pizzas for everybody. See, there you
Oh,
go.
Echo, no.
Yes.
Penance was paid.
On
Penance
Marky's
was paid. I will buy the tag team champions a pineapple. I will buy them a Hawaiian pizza on Maki. I will take care of that. Pizza for the refs and pizza for La Isla on the mass hole.
No, we'll call it the La Isla Special.
The La Isla Special. There you go.
All right. I believe that's it. I think that's all I have.
It's going to be a fun time. Cannot wait. Cannot wait.
Yep, that's it. Okay. On to Thursday. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. We greatly appreciate all you guys. As always, without you guys, this wouldn't be a thing. And of course, if you haven't yet, make sure you like the video and leave a comment below so that it helps the algorithm to get our show out there to all the wrestling fans in the YouTube verse or whatever they like to call their little community or whatever. And yeah, we'll see you guys on Thursday for another episode of Dudes and Belts Reignited. Tulsa Crusader will be returning on Thursday.
Yes.
Did he find a pot of gold over there in Ireland?
I doubt it because he came home. No, he came home. He's home now.
True,
I believe he's home or he's going to be home tomorrow. I wouldn't come home. If I found that much gold, I'm not coming home. I'm going to buy an island somewhere. Buy my own La Isla.
All right. For myself, Johnny Deathdrop, Marky Pins, and the voice of Ignition, Lucas Bradwell. We will see you guys on Thursday for another episode of Dudes and Belts Reignited. Make sure you watch Lucas on Ignition right before we go live. He'll be on the table probably with Derek Stone, his compadre over there, and he'll be calling all the action on Ignition. And then after that, we'll be right here I believe
Nuggets up by 20, baby. Nuggets up by 20.
just
There we
smoking the
go.
Lakers, huh? Wow.
There we go.
Yep.
Smoking the
Spanking 'em.
Lakers. All right. We'll see you guys at 8 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time for Reignited. As always, folks, stay safe, stay classy, and we'll see you on the next one. Take care.